Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. So how's everybody doing today? Everybody have a nice cup of tea?
Cheerio. I'm sorry, Wheaties.
Haven't had tea yet.
I thought Wheaties were the things that Mage pulled out of his garden because he didn't want them there.
No, Cheerio. Wheaties are the American form of Cheerios.
I thought Cheerios were American to begin with.
Mm-mm. No, Cheerios are just unflavored Fruit Loops.
Yeah, well, Cheerios are because, in England they got the idea that why do we have to waste good food on the peasants? We can just give them what the horses eat. That is literally the origin of cereals, was the rolled oats for the horses.
Well, you always got the Quaker oats, which was to stop people from masturbating.
Yeah, that was the cornflakes.
Oh, cornflakes, you're right.
What are you two talking about?
The Kellogg brothers ran, for lack of a better term, we'll call it a health spa. But it was all based on their Quaker beliefs. And part of that being that a very bland diet would suppress the sex urge. So every morning for breakfast, they fed everybody their cornflakes. That's how the cereal was invented. That they found a way to, roll the grain into just sheets and let it dry, and then just smashed it so it was just random pieces.
So that probably explains why there's no more Kellogg family out there, huh?
I never checked on the current version of the family. I'm only aware of the company in modern day.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. We have in the chat here Molly Hayford, Greg Hartwick, and Cosmic Kyle. This Jenny person keeps showing up. We really get rid of her. Boy.
Okay, goodbye.
Hey, where'd Winfrey go?
I
wanted her. There we go.
Just kidding.
We need Winfrey, otherwise who's going to repair my mechanical arm?
Yeah.
Although, replacing most of the steel with carbon fiber was a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering where they got carbon fiber in a society that still can't even build a car that looks like something other than a box.
Yeah, considering the society is supposed to be set in the 1940s.
Yeah.
Well, it's an alternate Earth, so maybe they came up with a few technological advancements that didn't happen until later in our timeline.
We're talking about the series Full Metal Alchemist.
Yep. Which the rest of you should all be watching with us every Thursday night, but now you're like way behind.
Although we could catch you up.
Hey, Tubian. Yes, Henry Kellogg was a weirdo. Oh, yeah, Road to Wellville. I've heard about that movie. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen that one either. I've heard of it, though.
Yeah, that's supposed to be somewhat biographical of Henry Kellogg.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how accurate it is, but yeah, it goes into a lot of his strange practices at his clinic.
So why are we celebrating tea?
Tea is good.
Because it's the greatest drink in the world?
Only according to the British.
My dad was an avid tea drinker.
Yeah, well,
have a huge stock.
I have at times pondered that part of the reason I like the tea so much and a number of other quirks I have is because I was a British sailor during World War II.
No, you weren't. I'm sorry. That's a bunch of bullshit.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't.
I know the whole story. I was refueling planes on the HMS Unicorn.
Okay, fine. There's got to be
Look,
more to the
what-
story than that.
There's a lot more to it. I just, wasn't going to take up the whole time for it here.
And what ocean were you in?
Well, this
Excuse
was
me,
when
theater of operations.
the Unicorn was sent to the Far East Fleet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we were up against the Japanese.
But if you're in California, wouldn't that be the far west?
Yeah, but we're talking about the British perspective.
Well, depends on which way you turn.
Yeah, well, the British.
It would be. It could be the far, very, very, very far west.
The British considered, the Orient to be the Far East.
Oh. Well, you had a very.
She looks kind of strange, but
You have a very pretty captain.
Yeah, no, it's not the captain. That's the ship.
Oh.
yeah, you can see, the flight deck kind of being the wings off of her back.
Oh well, she'd be fun to ride then.
Hey, she had like 1,000 guys riding her every night.
Well, that's what anime is all about, isn't it?
And yes, there is plenty of fan service in this particular anime.
Yeah, I've seen that image. I haven't seen, anything else of it, but a couple of still images of a few of the girls.
Yeah, I watched through the anime. There's a whole episode of them just bathing.
It's one I would like to see just because like I say, I've seen the images of it.
Yeah, we can get to it sometime.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole thing about, how the girls turn into ships.
It's some kind of alien technology. So basically, these I guess aliens, for lack of a better word, or more like interdimensional beings, come over to our world and start fighting. The whole world joins these forces and fights against them, and they use that technology to create these human ships to fight against what the aliens have, or the interdimensional beings have.
Mm-hmm.
We fight them back. And this is basically a story after that, where we've been in the faction off again.
Well, if you still get to wear the same fashions, that would be fine. Do they get to go back to being just women?
Well, they were never actually women to begin with. They were originally ships. They just happen to look like girls.
I can just imagine if somebody could, create a thing to import these into the World of Warships game.
I'm pretty convinced that if LSD had never hit the market, we wouldn't have people who think this weird to come up with this shit.
Sure, we would.
Anime gets weird with what they turn into a girl.
Think of how many great things we got that were invented by people who were probably on the autistic spectrum.
Well,
No
I
drugs
understand.
needed.
I understand the concept of the carbon ring in chemistry was created by a hippie, or not a hippie kind of guy, a guy in his sleep. That he had a dream about it, and suddenly it existed.
There's a number of inventors who've said things like that. Damn, now I can't remember who it was, but one of the famous famous mathematician and inventor that was like from the medieval era, that every night he fell asleep with a metal ball in his hand and a metal bucket next to his bed, so that when he was dreaming and had an idea, he would drop the ball and it would wake him up so he could write the idea down right away before he lost it.
Okay.
Well, apparently he did a lot to advance mathematics that way.
Well,
Hey, if it works.
but show us the math. Show us what he did. And see, that's just another one.
Yeah,
of those,
now I can't remember who it was. I just remember that.
just another one of those urban myths.
Yeah. Hey, I'm pretty sure that if you did a good analysis of Ben Franklin, I'm sure he was autistic.
You think?
Yeah.
I suppose it would be possible, but
I guess
not every creative person is autistic. Okay.
No, not everyone. Not everyone.
Okay.
I definitely will not accept any ideas that Elon Musk is autistic, because Elon Musk is just a narcissist.
No,
Yeah,
Elon Musk is autistic, but he's not all that creative.
He's just a prick.
But yeah, Elon Musk never really invented anything. He just went and bought up other people's ideas.
Well, he probably invented his own way of preparing the toilet paper before he wipes, assuming he wipes. He is a guy.
Why would that mean they not wipe?
Oh, aren't you aware? Not wiping is a big thing among some male groups these days, because doing that would be gay. You heard me.
It's true. And why do you think that there have always been jokes about men having skid marks in their underwear?
Evidenced by the fact that men always have skid marks in their underwear.
Yeah, that just proves it's not a new phenomena. But they don't need to wipe anymore, because the whole Trump thing of real men wear diapers.
They also take that further, and that when you're showering, that you shouldn't wash your genital region, because that is also gay. Anytime you touch it is gay, actually. That's what they say. I don't buy it, but that's what they say.
That explains that offensive male stench. If they never wash their sweaty balls.
I've said it before. That was one of the most amazing things about HRT, is after a period of time, your body odor completely changes from the absolutely horrible smell of men to just normal.
I didn't have that problem even as a man, but
really, you never sweated and stunk or anything like that? Never, ever?
Well, I only sweated if I was, like working really hard. But I never really had the male body odor, and it kind of proved things out, because my baseline blood test before I started HRT, I was barely in the range of a cis male. I was actually in the range where male and female overlapped.
I was barely in the range of human. They had me much more pegged for a dog. It was probably because of all the fur and that tail I wagged.
So, Jenny.
Yeah.
Are you saying that we're not the first ones to flag you as being a bitch?
Nope. But you've never seen me carry a litter either, so.
No, I have never actually seen you take the trash out.
Kyle is an interesting person. $600 worth of beard oil. You sound like P. Diddy with his room full of baby oil and other things used for sex. Lubricant, Astroglide.
Is that really appropriate to you comparing our audience to P. Diddy?
No, just one particular person. Kyle knows I'm just kidding.
Sorry, Kyle. I hadn't been. Sammy's son has had me distracted, so I wasn't watching the side chat. Kyle had a couple of good comments here.
That is the one of the weirdest things about this whole P. Diddy thing is that this whole concept of their freak offs, which are just a different name for orgies, and that he actually had this gigantic supply of baby oil and sex lube. It's okay. That explains a lot. Diddy. Whatever your name is.
Okay, I have not paid any attention at all to P. Diddy, so these are all things I didn't know about. And quite frankly, had no desire in knowing about.
Oh. Hey, is anybody in the chat from Europe? Do we know if anybody is? Will anybody admit to being?
Well, these days it's more a question of will anybody admit to being American.
True.
I don't know where Tubian is from.
Well, I was approached with this concept and a photograph on the internet by a person who I normally would not have trust issues with. But this just feels, outside the pale, as they say. We're all familiar with bumblebees here in America. Those big thick things that look like they shouldn't be able to fly, but
Yep.
are actually a fairly friendly bee that lives in little packs, but all die out over the winter. They have a bee that looks just like a bumblebee, except instead of yellow and black, it is blue and black. And I find that hard to believe. But they said it's European. Actually, a credit in the caption said it was a European bee. And I just don't know if I should believe that. It would be so good to be one of those internet gotchas,
Yep. I do know that, like humans, bumblebees from different regions each have their own language.
I see.
That bumblebees in America do a different dance from bumblebees in France, so they would be unable to talk to each other.
Blue carpenter bee, a species of carpenter bee.
Oh no!
No, it's South Asian, India, South China. It's a different one.
There's a documentary on PBS right now that's been on many times. It's really very good. It's about this guy during the pandemic who went into his backyard and filmed bees. He's a professional wildlife photographer type. Mm-hmm. And since he couldn't go anywhere or do anything, he decided to go after the bees in his immediate backyard. And it's one of the best documentaries you've ever seen. And there's this scene right now that makes me uncomfortable that, there's lots of bees that just live in a single hole, are solitary bees. They just live in a single hole. Well, apparently there's a spider that likes to occupy their holes. And when they come up to land and go home, the spider snatches them. Mm. And they just showed that happening. And it's always heartbreaking seeing that. Oh, poor little bee gets eaten by the spider. It's a real mean looking spider too. Oh, now here's a bee with red eyes. Yep. Now, isn't that interesting?
Peacock carpenter bee. It's from Australia.
Well,
it's a blue one.
Actually, for the last couple of decades, we've been worried about the bumblebee population crashing. And they had a huge resurgence during COVID by the simple fact that all the wildflowers weren't being mowed down. So they finally had an abundant food resource, and they were able to make a bit of a comeback for a couple of years. And then, of course, realizing that not mowing down the fields was good for wildlife, we went right back to doing it again.
Well, don't tell anybody in the Republican Party. They'll put something in one of their big, beautiful bills to have all the bumblebees exterminated. Because that's just what they're like.
Yeah, unfortunately true.
Did y'all hear Christy Gnome Nothing yesterday? That's my new name for her, Christy Gnome Nothing. She couldn't define habeas corpus. Here she is, the boss of ICE, or whatever department she's secretary of, and she couldn't define habeas corpus. Yeah. And when she did try to define it, she says, well, that's something that the president can take away as he needs to. And it's not.
I saw some clips of the congressional hearing which showed that yeah, she clearly has no concept of what due process means.
Well, this congressman who was or congresswoman who was questioning her, there it is. Look at that fucker! Isn't that just the coolest damn thing?
That's the peacock. Yeah, that's the peacock.
Okay, I never knew those existed because blue is the rarest and hardest color to create in nature.
Well, this one is from Australia, not Europe.
Well, yeah, Australia's not nature; it's just Australia,
This is the peacock carpenter bee, apparently.
The reason they want to tell you that Australia doesn't exist is because that's where we've been dumping all the failed genetic experiments.
Well, here's one. In America, I'm a bee fan. Okay, I like to follow bees and understand them and things. I'm not really afraid of them.
They're very cool.
You get stung, you find it hurts for a few minutes and then it's done. And the swelling goes down in a day or two. Well, yeah, that is true. And you can become allergic to them even though you're not now. You can just suddenly change. Anyways, so I observed bees, and when I was out working at the railroad track, at the racetrack, there's lots of grass and prairie plants and stuff there. So there's lots of bees, particularly those absolutely horrible murder bees that we call yellow jackets, and they're colonies the size of a small Volkswagen.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between a bee and a wasp.
Yeah, they're wasps. Yeah, no, they're hornets. They're not wasps. Anyway, I spotted a bee that it blew me away. I had never heard of it, seen it or anything. It just suddenly showed up, and I checked it afterwards, and it's a real thing. It looks like honeybee shape and a little smaller. And it's bright green, that metallic kind of green that you see on bugs and beetles and stuff like that. But it's just a very cool deep emerald metallic green. It was just beautiful.
Be that color.
Oh,
I've seen some beetles that were that color, but never a bee.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow jacket would be a wasp.
No, it's a hornet.
Members of these genre are known simply as wasps.
I don't care. They're hornets.
I thought a hornet was what the police used to collect a bunch of prostitutes.
No, it used to be a car from American Motors.
I know. My uncle used to build them.
Though hornets is a type of wasp too, so.
I think the real difference is that wasps live in colonies and hornets are more solitary. I believe that's the main difference between them.
No, we have wasp nests all over the place here, and we have yellow jacket nests all over the place here. So whichever you want to call them, they nest.
Okay, I could be wrong about that.
They also all die over winter, except for a few that the queens that hide real well under bark and things like that and stay alive. Sweat bees can get pretty metal too. Oh, you mean that metallic coloring?
No, I think he means the way they can swarm you, and they're little tiny things, but yeah, you can quickly get 100 stings.
Sweat bees don't sting. Most bees do not have a stinger. That's the first thing you got to know about bees. Is most of them just don't have a stinger. And sweat bees, those are those little ones who stick their holes are straight out, their wings straight out like a dragonfly, and they're a little bit of yellow and black things. Maybe
Yep.
3/8 of an inch long. I love those suckers. When they're flying around, I try to get them on my hands so they can lick all the salts and fats that and sweat that they want, because they're just so cute. I love them. And they're safe. They're not gonna bite you. Neither are honeybees for that matter, unless you fuck around with them.
Yeah, bees generally are passive, and bees don't want to sting you, because for a bee to sting you is a kamikaze mission. Once they sting an animal, it rips the stinger out of their abdomen, and they're going to die.
How's that for a bee?
Well, that's pretty cool. That's just its proboscis, though, isn't it? For sucking the nectar.
Yep.
Ooh, they just showed a couple of bees fucking. Well, I think they were fucking. It might have been, murdering, but it looked more
Okay.
like fucking.
Jenny,
What?
I had to look it up because my experience was otherwise. But Google says yes, sweat bees can sting. They're generally not aggressive, and their stings are considered mild.
Which ones?
Sweat bees.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up and see what we're talking about as sweat bees. Where did you look for that?
That was the first result that came up on Google.
Okay, and you just put in sweat bee?
I put do sweat bees sting.
Let's see here. True hornets are in the genus Vespa, and yellow jackets are in the genus Vespula, and Dalchova Vespula. I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
Oh, see, the when I do that in Google, I get the same thing you just read, but then I go to the images, and those are not the bees I'm talking about. There is a little one, a few down, that is the bee I'm talking about, but not the other. Oh, there's the green bee. It's a sweat bee. Oh, I didn't realize that.
I'm sorry, gender. I'm sorry, Ember. Did I misgender you? I apologize.
I don't know. I didn't hear it if you did. Fuckhead. No. That's kind of weird, getting misgendered in this time of life. Wow. It's okay. It's not a problem. Shit happens.
I screw up from time to time.
Okay, now let's see. Let's get back where I'm trying to be.
By the way, everybody, this is still National Tea Day. This is just the bee plot.
Okay, I'm going to put these up on Twitter so y'all can grab them and show everybody.
You know what I need for my jokes? I need a little gif of a cricket with a snare drum.
Well,
Jeff?
That's what AI is for.
Yeah, I don't know. AI hasn't been very good with GIFs, for as I can tell.
Okay, I just uploaded those three pictures, and let's see if folks can see them.
Close out a few things. I got a bunch of shit opened.
Too many tabs.
Yeah.
Jenny, if you sent them to Twitter, I'm not seeing them.
Yep, don't see anything on Twitter.
What? I put them in the MidAmerica. At least I thought I did.
Yeah, then again, Yeah, when I put the link in the MidAmerica, it also gave me a thing that I had failed. So I thought I had.
I'm sorry, Perp. I put them in your personal.
Oh, okay. Okay, yep. Now I see them.
Sorry.
Yeah, I hate that failed link thing. That I get that quite often with on Twitter.
It comes and goes, but yeah, the last couple of days it's been coming up a lot on me.
No, that was
Well-
entirely my fault.
While we're waiting for Jenny's images, how about platelets as anime girls?
Platelets. Right.
Anime girls. Okay, let's see this.
Yeah.
Do-do-do-do-do.
They're platelets as cute anime girls.
I don't know. I'm not impressed. And there's no blue eyes. Anime girls are only anime girls if they have blue eyes. Didn't you know that? Or green. Or two
Okay.
different ones. Yeah.
I believe this is from the anime called Cells at Work.
Souls that work?
Cells at Work.
Cells that work.
At Work, yeah.
CELLS.
I wasn't sure what you meant by platelets, but
Yeah, blood platelets.
oh, okay. Okay, there's the first one of Jenny's images.
Yeah, that's the green bee. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, well, it's like it's got a blue abdomen and a green thorax. That's very pretty.
No, the whole thing's green. It's got green and black on it on its butt, but everything is green. I just don't think we can see well enough underneath to tell. But anyways, that's the little bee I was talking about. They're so pretty.
Yep.
And I've only seen them like twice in my life. And this is the sweat bee I'm talking about. It's a bad picture, but you can see how its wings are stuck out to the side.
Yeah, these are the ones I meant. They're very tiny. And I knew they could sting because when I was doing landscaping, I wound up disturbing a nest of them.
Yeah, but that's not
And
the
I-
one that it seems to be talked about. This was in that grouping, but if you hit images on Google after the sweat bee prompt, you get tons and tons of pictures of the next one to come up, and only
Okay.
one of this. So
Green.
oh wait, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. That's the one who sticks his arms out to the side, wings out to the
Yeah.
side, and the one before that was the one that Google says is a sweat bee.
Okay, so we're talking about two different species.
Yeah.
I knew that the ones I knew as sweat bees that I had got stung several dozen times when I disturbed their hive.
Yeah, these guys just land on you and lick.
It is odd that they hold their wings out so differently like that. So yeah, they must be a different family
They're
phylogenetically.
a bee dragonfly hybrid. That's what it is. Yeah, because they hover and buzz like dragonflies too. Maybe they're actually a dragonfly, not a bee. No, that's not true.
I don't know. We'll need some way to give us a phylogenetic chart of bees, wasps, and hornets.
No. Damselflies are my other most favorite bug
Hey, Jen.
because they come through in that really cool blue color and they're so tiny and delicate.
Yes. Honey is excellent for sweetening tea. See, there. It all came back around. The B plot intersected the A plot again.
Oh, that's a very good
Is
picture.
a sweat bee?
Yeah, no, I've never seen a bee, with that kind of iridescent green.
I have.
I suspect there's lots of bees that people in the street vernacular call sweat bees. Like there's a lot of Republicans people call human, but they're not really.
Yep.
Mm.
No, if Jenny didn't make that joke, I would have.
Here's another, and it worked. Okay, it worked. I was froze for a second there.
Oh,
There's
that's
another
neat.
species.
That's a pretty
well,
picture.
this looks like one in flight.
Yeah, it is. That's another sweat bee, apparently.
When I was when I had my shop. My nephew, oh, he was about 8 or 9 years old. He doesn't remember this, sadly, but I thought he would be old enough to remember it. He was visiting the shop, hanging out. His dad dropped him off for a couple hours, and so I was just kind of entertaining him. And there was this big ass nasty yellow jacket in the office buzzing around and stuff. And so I captured it on the window and stuff like that. And we had learned a long time prior to that if you shoot some brake cleaner, the type we had back in those days, not the type they have now, it would stun a yellow jacket for a period of time, and they couldn't harm you at all. But they would come around and continue on with their life. So I shot down and captured this yellow jacket, and I took one of the hairs out of my head, which are like 2 feet long, and I tied it in a lasso around his waist, the thin part, and then tied a little 8mm nut on the other end of it for a weight, and just set it on the disc and waited for it to wake up, and all it could do was fly around in a circle, of course.
So you put a yellow jacket on a leash.
Yeah, and my nephew Justin just screamed like a kid, that like kids can scream and wail when they laugh. It was so enjoyable. I wish you would remember it. It was a great memory for me.
I saw a guy who captured some houseflies, and he put them in the freezer, so that basically they went dormant for a little bit, and he super glued them on to a popsicle stick airplane.
Oh.
And yeah, he created a 4-engine bomber, because once the flies, got back to their normal state, of course, they started flying. And they actually flew this little airplane.
I don't know. I do, when I've done things like that, I always feel guilty that I'm just treating this poor little life creature or creature with life cruelly, but it's a goddamn yellow jacket. All it wants to do is kill you.
The leash wasn't so bad. Actually gluing them onto the plane, that was kind of cruel, but it was still funny as hell to see.
Oh, I wish there was a video of that.
Yeah, I wonder if there is.
I guess we'll just have to, repeat the experiment one day. Although it would seem to me like a popsicle stick would be kind of too heavy for...
Well, yeah, it wasn't actually popsicle sticks. I'm not sure exactly what he used, but, that was just kind of to give you the image.
Something like the thickness of an emery board or something skinny like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it had to be something lighter than popsicle sticks.
But that would be very funny. It makes me think of this guy who's known in the radio control airplane market, that he builds all these weird RC models. Like he built a plane that flew really well, just a big circle, no wings, just a big circle of airfoil. And the motor, on the middle of it, suspended in the middle of it, and it would fly, and he could, turn it and make it go up and down, and everything. It was kind of cool. But he also decided to set the world's record on the longest airplane build, or I should say widest, because he attached wing after wing after wing after wing to each other, and had like 27 planes all set up on the same receiver and everything, and so he could control them all at once, and the goddamn thing fucking flew. It was like 30 feet long. And it takes off, and pretty bizarre.
How bizarre, dude.
Okay, I was not able to find a YouTube video of it, but here is a link from the National Air and Space Museum on how to build your own airplanes powered by insects.
Your tax dollars at work. I love it.
So you too can personally torture little insects and make them carry things.
Oh yeah, look at that son of a gun.
There was even a kit on Amazon to build a fly-powered airplane, but I skipped past that.
Designed and built by famed aircraft modeler Frank Elling in the 70s, these model airplanes are the smallest flying models at the Air and Space Museum. They are powered by flies attached to the models with contact cement. Constructed from balsa wood and red tissue paper, the one fly design has a wingspan of 2 inches. The 2-fly version, which is a delta wing design, is 4 inches wide. I'm going to screen dump that and set it up so people can see it.
Okay. Sending that to the Twitter.
Yeah, I'll send this one to MidAmerica. I'm sorry for the mistake.
Yep. Nope, not a problem. Not a problem. I just didn't know where to look for it. That was all.
Okay, there it is. I'm gonna have to try this now that this has been done by no other than the National Air Museum. It completely legitimizes it. I wonder how many trumps we'd have to glue to an airplane wing to make it fly.
I got it.
Oh, okay. I just about had it. Go ahead. I think if we glue Trump to it to make it fly, we need to launch it off a high cliff over the ocean.
Okay. California, West Coast has a lot of nice places like that.
Yeah. Well, just like the guys who were trying to invent an airplane before the Wright brothers.
Well, now see, this one fly is crooked, and that means the thing's going to fly badly. And I see he's got the tail pre-cocked, or no, that's just the angle I'm seeing it on.
Well, if the one fly is crooked, it probably just means the plane will fly in a circle.
Wonder if the flies can coordinate what they're doing there, and okay, left, right, or excuse me, flies would be.
Okay, now you'd have to have a tiny remote control, and like strings to each of the fly's wings so that you could control the direction of flight.
Oh, or maybe electrodes, just little electrodes that give them a signal and they know what to do.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's tried putting electrodes in a fly, probably because they'd be too heavy. I know they've done that to cockroaches.
There are people who try to make remote control airplanes as small as physically possible.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole section of the sport that is indoor flying. They take like a high school gymnasium. It's nice and big, and they'll fly these planes in the gymnasium because they're so light they can't deal with wind.
Looks like they have done the electrodes and flies thing.
Oh,
what are we looking at? Oh no, we're not looking at.
Freaky flute fly experiment science have used electrodes to measure the brain activity of the tiny insect while flapping their wings for the first time when the animals began to fly. The neurons in the visual region of the brain ramped up activity abruptly. They found. Interesting.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Spooky.
Hey, Spooky.
Actually, I missed saying hi to a lot of folks. Hi, Ember.
Yeah, and
hi, Jen, and hi Ember again, and hi, Jen again, and hi, Desk, and and we harassed Kyle already. And Tori, I missed Tori. Hi, Tori. And let's see who else we got.
Yeah, I did not. I saw Tori. I missed
Tubian
captive. I missed Captive Death Kid coming.
and Molly and Greg. Oh, we got a great team today.
Right now it says we've got 8 people watching. You know, if any of you want to come in and join us, you're welcome to.
Okay, what's your favorite tea?
I
Sure.
have my own custom home brew. That my iced tea I brew hot as a blend of black tea, peppermint, and chamomile.
Okay.
And then I have been trying to trademark my own alcoholic beverage that I call Dragon Ball tea, which is my homebrewed iced tea with a double shot of Dragon Ball cinnamon whiskey.
I've never really
You mean
played
Fireball?
with.
Yeah, Fireball cinnamon whiskey.
I've never really played with trying to make custom teas. I drink my Earl Grey and I'm happy with that.
Now, do we want to get technical as to what technically is and isn't tea, or should we?
As
Well,
far as I'm
as far
concerned,
as
it's only tea if it's actual tea.
Yeah.
Not there's herbal stuff.
Yeah, well, no, as far as it goes, basically tea is more the process than what you put in it. It's just pretty much any plant that's infused in water, because otherwise you couldn't have peppermint tea.
They can call a solution anything they want. Doesn't mean that's what it is. Let's see here. Tea.
Also,
TEA. No, let's try T with instead of Y. Yeah, there we
also
go. T.
something I will recommend for the ladies in the audience that all the women I live with have sworn to is that catnip tea helps relieve menstrual cramps.
I have heard that.
Well, okay, I will stand corrected. Dictionary says tea, an evergreen shrub or small tree, native to Asia, blah, blah, blah. Number 2, an aromatic, slightly bitter beverage by steeping tea leaves. Any of various plants such as New Jersey tea that having leaves are or were formerly used to make tea-like beverage. That sounds like used leaves.
I've never heard of New Jersey tea, and I'm just anything with the name New Jersey in it, I don't think I want.
For any various beverage made by steeping the leaves, flowers, fruits, or other parts of certain plants, herbal tea, peppermint tea. Any various beverages made of extracting an infusion from meat. Ooh.
This is getting into a general. This is getting to a generalized use of the term rather than a technical use, though.
Okay, yeah, crossing into meat, I can't agree with that. It's got to be at least plants.
Number 6, a tea rose. Number 7, chiefly British, an afternoon refreshment consisting of usually of sandwiches and cakes served with tea. 8, an afternoon reception or social gathering at which tea is served. And 9, slang for marijuana, which is in itself a slang term.
Yeah, because to the British, tea is not a drink, it is an occasion.
And there's also compost tea.
Yeah, I'm not drinking that either.
Wait a minute, you mean tea made from compost?
Yeah.
Ew.
You pour the water into or you take compost and put it into like a bag and you put it into the water and seeps out, or you can do like what I've got set up where you have the compost just in a bucket with holes in the bottom, and it's in another bucket, and you pour the water into the compost and it'll filter out and you get compost tea in the bottom.
Yeah, you do that. I don't. You're the gardener type.
I understand it is very good for watering your plants, but that's all.
There's some overstatements on it, but if you have it, you're actually better off just putting a layer of compost on on your over the ground on where your plants are, and then watering it, and then you just get the compost tea right there.
Yeah,
But-
compost tea is not for plants. Is for plants, not for people.
Yeah, well,
Thank you, trees.
I've heard of people, just using it to water house plants.
Oh, that might be a good idea.
Well, there you have it. You have it from a tree themselves. There we go. You have it from a tree themselves that is not for people.
Compost is for very rich soil. I like it. Oh,
What?
God, we gotta do something about those people.
New Jersey tea is pouring hot water through a strangely crusty sock.
My favorite thing was when politically when the breakaway Republicans back in the pre-Bush days or Bush days decided to call themselves teabaggers, obviously having no clue what that meant.
This is like you didn't have a single person in your organization Google this before you went public, huh?
There's this woman who does videos on YouTube, on Twitter, and lots of different places. And one of the things that she does is she seeks out titles of documents or songs or TV shows or whatever, or signs on a building, or other kinds of billboards and things like that, and scopes them out for how badly they've been laid out, or the text has been chosen. Most of it wrapping around tawdry little sex comments that people have, like balls and penises and all these kinds of things. And her slogan is, all you have to do to prevent this is show it to one adolescent.
Yeah, is that refashioned hippie? Is she the one you mean?
I don't know her name. I can't remember, but she's pretty funny.
Yeah, well, the refashioned hippie does that, and she just keeps saying, "Yeah, just show it to one 13-year-old boy, and if he laughs, change it."
Yeah.
And here we go. You wanted somebody from Europe. We have Stool here in the UK now.
Stool's here? Hey,
Yep.
Stool. I'm people. I don't eat compost. Well, duh. Come on, stop being so rigid. I know you're old, but really old. Excuse me.
Yep, and Ivy just joined us too.
Hello.
Stool, you can come up here if you want.
Okay, Spooky is claiming to be from Europe today.
Spooky, do they have blue bees over in Europe? We know that they have them in Australia.
Hey, bluebies.
I like blue bees.
Is that why the boobies have blue feet? Because they keep getting stung by blue bees?
It might be. I think those are so cool. Boobies with those feet. Yeah, blue bees.
Yeah.
We showed a picture earlier. You can track it down on Google, but there are blue bees in Australia. I'm asking you because somebody had shown me one, and the claim was that it was a European bee, and I've never heard of those. So I was hoping somebody from Europe would run into us here, and I could ask them.
Yeah, Major brought up a picture of the Australian one.
If I remember correctly, there's one in Florida.
A blue bee in Florida?
Yeah.
Just one all by itself? It must be lonely.
Feed it to an iguana.
It's in a fairly small range.
Bot boobies? I don't know if you're rich enough to afford that option, I suppose.
Actually, most of the bees that you'll encounter, like in your garden or something, will actually be solitary bees.
Hmm. You can take just a little chunk of 2x4, 4 inches by 4 inches, or well, 3.3 7/8 by 3 7/8, and drill like 1/8 inch or slightly larger holes in it, on one of the flat surfaces, and just like a dozen holes, and put it in your garden, and those solitary little bees will take up home in that.
Yep.
I've seen other people build um, bee apartments with straws. Take a bundle of straws and
Yep.
keep them together. Um,
Okay. Well, Spooky says that they've only seen black and yellow bees. So Tree said I blew a bee once, stung the shit out of me.
you blew a bee?
Um,
How did you get to spread its legs? Well, Mage, I didn't hear you mention what your favorite tea is.
Well, for including the herbal stuff, I've been liking the hibiscus tea.
How do they make that? Out of what part?
The flower, the hibiscus flower.
Have you ever made it yourself out of hibiscus flower, or by
Yes.
preparations? You have.
Yes. There's
How
also there's also the other there's different species of hibiscus that is usually used to usually what you buy in the stores from the red rosella.
Well, what if you're not tall enough and you can only use the low hibiscus?
Though the more ornamental hibiscus plants that you'll usually buy at like a big box store, or they can be used as a for a drink as well, which in fact they use in Hawaii. They'll make the tea and then mix it with a little bit of lemon juice, use as a beverage.
I've actually been meaning to try, thinking that I should make some catnip tea, and Sloth Girl had crocheted a whole bunch of cat toys that she had filled with catnip. But now they've all kind of lost their fragrance. So I was wondering that if I soaked the crocheted toys in a catnip tea, if that would bring the fragrance back and, get the cats interested in playing with them more.
You could just grow some catnip.
Actually, I buy it. One of the people who works at the animal shelter here grows their own organic catnip, and they just sell little baggies of it for $2 each at the animal shelter.
Organic? A cat needs organic catnip? Oh, Jesus.
Well, I don't think that they need organic. It's just I would rather buy it from the person at the animal shelter than buy it from some corporation.
Yes, I'm sure it's organic, GMO free. Well, the buzzwords can we throw into there?
Well, I'm sure it's just organic because they do it in their backyard garden and they don't, spray any pesticides on it. Which that part of it's important to the cats, because
Well,
if it has, pesticide residue on it, that could actually make the cat sick.
well, that organic doesn't necessarily mean you're avoiding using pesticides and herbicides. It just depends on the type of it that they're using. In fact,
Yeah.
most organics actually end up having to use more pesticides due to the type that they use.
Yeah, well, again, this is why I like buying it from somebody local that, I've actually talked to, so I know exactly what's in it.
Well, you could just buy a pack of seeds and put them in a pot in your house.
I would, except that the cats would eat them before they get a chance to get anywhere.
Oh, well, you put a cage around them. Gosh.
I don't want to put a cage around my cats.
That's what cats belong in, though. They're not tame. They're wild animals. Cats are dangerous. And they shouldn't be
Nope.
allowed in bathrooms. They're too dangerous.
They are not dangerous, and in fact, they are good guards in bathrooms.
Hey, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't want to crush the story. Go ahead.
Yeah, since we used to take Petunia to get her fur clipped at the groomer, she got used to the electric trimmer. So now every time in the bathroom that I use the electric razor, she feels it is her duty to come in there and stand guard for me to make sure no one else comes in while I'm using the electric shaver.
Well, that's interesting.
Yep, she's protecting me. So where were you going, Jen?
I don't remember at this point.
I'm sorry. Something
No,
about
that's
cats being dangerous and shouldn't be allowed in bathrooms.
Oh yes, thank you. That just kind of loops me into trans stuff. Any of you guys out there from Texas? Your attorney general is a prick. He somehow now has been able to rig it so that he can have all of your medical information about your prescriptions. How about that?
I
Ken
hadn't heard that
Paxton
one.
of Florida can now have your entire prescription history, and through that they can determine whether or not you're trans. They think they can do. They'll just have to realize there's a lot of women cis women in menopause that get those same drugs, but nonetheless, they're trying to make a list, checking it twice, going to find out if you're free or in prison where they want you to be.
That's what immediately came to my mind, is that they're going to be arresting women in menopause and arresting the parents of kids with precocious puberty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's already happening. Every place they have passed the bathroom bills, most of the time they're harassing cis women far more than they ever, than an actual trans woman is ever involved.
What are you doing, that drum sound, or is that me?
Drum sound?
Okay, I have to reboot.
Oh.
Were you hearing a drum sound in Purple?
No, I didn't know if maybe it was me messing with my headphones, though. You okay, Jenny? No, she went out to reboot. Okay. Trees, I love this. That Ohio is the beer gut hanging over the Bible Belt.
I don't know what I did, but all of a sudden I started getting that snare drum thing that they do, but bump. Every 2 seconds or so, it was going off on my phone. I have no idea why.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is. I don't even know if I have that recording anywhere.
I have the I have the recording on Streamer. It sounds like Streamers is messing up on you, because I do have the recording on here. This is what I have of. Is that the way you heard?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought you had hit that earlier on one of my jokes.
Yeah, but this time it only played once, so that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's only supposed to only play once. I turned off the loop track, but it wasn't playing for anyone else. So
yeah, no, I wasn't hearing it. I only heard the one.
Oh, Jasmine Crockett is just an absolute goddess. That woman is so fucking cool in every respect. I love her to death.
Yeah, apparently Texas also, there was a court hearing in Texas from an appellate court that basically said that there's nothing wrong with discriminating against transgender people in the workplace, that it's okay to harass them at work.
That's right. That's true. I read that also. I forget which state it was.
Yeah, that was in Texas. I was listening to a thing about it last night before I went to bed.
That sounds like a Texas thing.
It's really of course I'm biased in this, but it's just ridiculous how our society has chosen to attack such a minority population of 0.4 to 1% of the population, and to attack them within an inch of their lives, to hate, to suggest we be exterminated. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
It is exactly the same way.
Trans people do not hurt anybody, anytime, anywhere, for any reason, and they're coming after us and telling all lies about us. Everything they say about us is a lie.
It is exactly the same thing that happened in Germany in the early 1930s. That they started picking on the queer people and on the disabled people as people who were, worthless to society. And that's where they started. And once they got rid of all of those, then they started going after, various ethnic groups and the Jews. So yes, people, this is how it starts. And it's just a matter of how many groups are below you that they have to go through on the list before they get to you.
It's just so goddamn unfair,
Well, and this unfortunately is just, a blindingly obvious illustration of the old saying, those who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it.
Except they know the history, and they just don't care. They agree with it.
Well, and a lot of them even deny it. We've got a lot of the Holocaust deniers now. That's a conspiracy that a lot of the far right wing have latched onto. That, oh no, that never really happened. There never were these extermination camps.
Oh, speaking about that, apparently somebody tried to reprogram Grok to become a Holocaust denialism, but it didn't take.
Wow. And we're going to see that a lot more.
They also tried to program it to go on say that there's white genocide in Africa, or genocide going on in Africa, which conflicted with its core function of trying to be factual. And it started wigging out and started obsessing over it, just posting about that just on random things that had nothing to do with the subject.
Yeah, I heard about that. That people were asking questions about the Pope, and it was spewing out white genocide stuff instead.
Yeah. Apparently, somebody tried to go into the back end and program it to say that, but since it was conflicting with the core programming of being factual, it started wigging out. Some people are suspecting that it was probably Elon Musk doing it.
That wouldn't surprise me. Although he would be having somebody do it, he can't do that stuff himself. Yeah. He's too stupid.
Yeah, seeing as he would have access to do that kind of thing, and it does kind of seem to align with his views.
Yeah, I can see Elon giving someone the access code to do it. Yeah.
He came out publicly and said that he's going to back off of his donations to politics. Gee, and
how long do you think that'll last?
Apparently, in the little interview where he announced that, he actually started crying. Oh, because people are abusing him so bad. Oh,
well, because of the whole thing with Doge, the Republican Party are trying to distance themselves from Elon, but they want to distance themselves from him without offending him, because they know that next year they'll need his money for the election.
Yeah, I don't think he's really going to back off. He's just not going to make it public, that's all.
Yeah, well, I think that's basically it, that they're asking him, hey, can you kind of be quiet about this for the next year or so?
You're wrecking it for us, Elon. We can't be as racist if you keep talking that way.
Well, because Doge, the whole thing with Doge, that he was going to save the government $3 trillion. and then it was revised to 1 trillion, and then it was revised to 200 billion. And actually, everything that Elon Musk did, especially with them having, to rehire people they fired and all this, has actually cost the government about 140 billion. Yeah, so I mean that at the very best, as charitable as you can be to Elon and Doge, they may have broke even. That the government would be at the same place financially as if Doge had never existed, and that's as charitable as I can be about it.
Actually, they did much worse because it's going to cost trillions to correct everything that they've completely fucked up.
Yeah. Well, a lot of what they fucked up, they don't want to correct. The stuff about taking food stamps and medical benefits from millions of people, they don't want to correct that. But stepping back a bit to what we were saying before, about Texas, but the state of Maine is actually bringing a lawsuit against the Supreme Court, saying that they cannot pass these they cannot approve the discriminatory laws. Discriminatory laws against transgender people, because it violates statutes in Maine and also in other states that list transgender as a protected class. So that they are saying it's okay for states to discriminate against a protected class, and that is unconstitutional.
That would be the 14th Amendment.
Yeah.
Now, you realize how these people feel about the Constitution. In the Trump Bible, which they would like to see in every school in the world, eliminates amendments 11 through 27. It takes them out and ignores that they exist, and makes all its comments and stuff based on the concept that they do not exist.
Yeah, well, they're also kind of ignoring the First Amendment, but
yeah, true. But it's 11 through 27 that really fortify the most important rights and experiences we've had out of living as Americans and things. Like the 14th being equal application of the law. And these people are absolute pure fascists and authoritarians. They're just dangerous people.
Yeah,
and this Pam Bondi, what the fuck is her head? Oh, well, if you say Trump is this or that, it's illegal, and I'm going to put you in prison. Oh, you can't be the boss, talking to Springsteen. You can't be the boss because you're not the president. It's like, fuck you, bitch. What are you, on drugs?
Well, at least we have the Second Amendment to protect our rights. It's a fascist government.
Yeah, they've done a great job of preventing us from tyranny, haven't they?
Yeah.
Just like they said they would do. Yeah.
Did you hear Trump's rant on Truth Social? That has anyone noticed how ever since he put down Taylor Swift, she's not hot anymore?
Yes. And somebody put up that picture of him in a white polo top, all sweaty from golfing, and his man boobs are sticking out like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, could it be that she's just not in the news because her tour ended 6 months ago? So maybe that's why the news isn't talking about her every day now.
Okay, I'm going to try an experiment here, folks. I got my
hi, Randy.
I got my iPad up and running
Yeah, that's nice.
again because I finally bought or could afford a damn power cord for it. And right now I've just turned it on and it is on. Yes, it is connected and is now on the personal hotspot being generated by my phone. So theoretically, I mean, I won't be able to cut and paste between them, but I should be able to do all sorts of different things. Now, let's see, where's
Yep.
my browser? No, it's here somewhere.
Well, I don't know how well Taylor Swift can act, but she would make a pretty good Supergirl.
Yeah, that definitely works.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm one of those people that thinks Taylor is very hot.
She is. She's totally not my type, but I have to agree that she's a very attractive woman.
Ooh, this is slow. Holy fuck.
And really, I paid no attention to Taylor Swift at all until she made the statement at her concert that all of her fans should register to vote. Up until that point, I paid no attention to her, but it's like I loved that, and even the fact she didn't even tell anyone who to vote for. She just said that they should all get out and vote.
Okay, let's see if we can find somewhere to go. Okay, those are bookmarks. Yeah, I remember that symbol.
Daddy kitties.
There are no bookmarks in this. All right, so we can make our own. Let's see, Google .communist.
Google communists?
And here's Google. How about that? It worked. It worked. I'm online. I'm online with my iPad.
Yay!
Oh gosh, we should find out. Can I get StreamYards on this thing?
Probably.
The neat thing about this, I haven't had this online for like a year. Okay. And I plugged it in this weekend and got things going. And this is the glory of the Mac system. And it automatically hooked up with my phone for the hotspot, but then it also hooked up for the phone for synchronization. And everything that was behind on the iPad is now up to date with the phone. Automatically, I didn't have to do a thing. It just takes care of it for you. Did you know that Kanye? Do you know that Kanye West was once trying to put together a live action version of the Jetsons?
No, I didn't hear about that one.
I think that'd actually be a good idea.
Actually, wait a minute. Now that you mention it, I think I think that I did, see some kind of pre-production things about it. Just about how they were making the pitch. I generally think that doing live action of cartoons is just pointless at best. It rarely turns out well. And I even include a lot of the Marvel movies in that statement.
Oh, this is definitely slow as fuck.
Yeah, internet through the hotspot may give you a very good speed. I don't know.
Deadly slow. But we're still going to try for StreamYards.
Yep. I had done a poll after Queen Elizabeth died about who should run the UK. Should it be King Charles, or bring Queen Elizabeth back as a zombie, or give the country to the corgis?
Oh, I think the corgis.
Yeah, well, 3/4 of the votes were for the corgis. So they got more than twice as many as the Queen zombie and Charles combined. So I think that we should have UK run by the corgis, and we should replace the U.S. Congress with cats.
I hope Stool is still here. Stool, I like the Queen. I always thought Elizabeth was pretty fucking cool. I don't know in terms of politics and the dynamics of your social system and things, but as a person, she was pretty fucking cool. Brave lady.
Yeah. But yeah, we should replace the whole U.S. Congress with cats because the only bills you'll get them to agree on is to give them all more treats.
Okay, I'll give you guys a treat. I'm downloading StreamYard. It's a 30 megabyte file, and I just started. Let's see how long it takes.
30 megabyte.
Yeah.
So you started. So okay.
The fact that it's taking long to download than it took you to explain that is not a good indication.
Exactly. I mean, 150 megabytes on the phone is like done.
Yeah.
Oh, Don Jr. has his daddy's titties. Oh, Sarah Huckabee Sanders' jawline. That woman has such
My
horrible
unfinished
fashion
journey-
taste.
Yeah, my unfinished journey was asking whose jawline does Nancy Mace have. So then Chris said Sarah Huckabee Sanders' jawline.
Oh, I'm kind of thinking Clint Eastwood myself. You know, Nancy's trans. You know that, right? She just hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, I don't like labeling a lot of people as trans or autistic just because I think, that kind of downgrades those communities.
Well, you see, she's already really busy downgrading the fuck out of us. So if she thinks it's such a horrible thing to be and am, then she should be labeled as such too, because she hates it that much. That's my theory on it. The woman is a little bitch. She's doing it strictly for PR and points. She came out in, I think it was, I don't remember what year, I think 2018, 2019, something like that. How much she was in favor of the LGBTQI community and how much she supported trans people. And now she's done 180 degrees just for points. So this little bitch deserves nothing from us and every bit of criticizing and stereotyping that we can possibly muster.
Yeah,
she's a horrible
those are the
person.
worst people because they clearly have no values. They're clearly just, will flip their position to whatever they think is the most popular at the time.
Oh, now they just had a bee on there that was shiny green, but it was blue. It was the shiny blue. I didn't know they existed either.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sammy. I'm sorry. I was just trying to get the cord. Sorry. Sammy's son was getting his foot tangled up in my cord. So.
Damn cats.
Oh, are we going back to talking about blue bees?
We could. I mean, that'd be fine. I'm still downloading. This is like the old days where back in the 150 baud days when it would take all overnight to transfer a 1 megabyte file.
That's what I was thinking, back to my Commodore 64 when I was trying to download programs from the users group.
This is ridiculous.
That it would take 3 hours to download a program, and if anyone else in the house picked up a phone, it would trash it and you had to start all over.
Yes. Such a That's a great recording. Where do you got it? Mage?
Just found that on the internet.
Yep. Okay, back to jawlines. Jay Leno's chin actually was so iconic that he became a literal cartoon hero. If anybody remembers the show The Fairly Odd Parents, I think that's the one it was in, that Jay Leno was in there as a character called the Crimson Chin. That he was a superhero who would literally deck villains with his chin.
Well, that's interesting. That's not, I mean, Jay Leno isn't the only person that has a chin like that. You know, I wouldn't say it's fairly common, but there's definitely else. I'm busy looking for a picture of Nancy Mace.
Yeah, I think this was
that
the
I've collected.
sound effect.
Oh yes, here we go. Well, that's not the one I want really, though.
Oh, yep, there he is.
He's a Crimson Chin.
Yep. Yeah, and Jay Leno voiced the character for this.
Well, that's certainly a chin. Come on, Nancy, where are you?
Oh.
I know you're hiding from me.
Yeah, but she'll hide for a long time at 150 baud.
No. I'm on the phone right now. I'm not going to try and do anything with the iPad. It's pretty much told me it's not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine searching Google at 150 baud. Take you a while to get a couple of results there.
Well, you know, actually, the Google pages went pretty quick.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
come on.
used to have dial-up back in the day. I remember what it's like.
Yep.
Hell, I remember we were having a Commodore 64, so I remember you boot the thing up and you go get coffee.
Yep.
Oh, is your little cassette recorder?
No, I didn't have the cassette recorder. We had the cartridges and floppy disks.
Oh, that was one of the modern ones.
Yeah, I started in 1982 with the data cassette, just because at the time the disk drives cost more than the computer did, and I couldn't afford both.
My dad had a pretty good setup. He started off with it was basically like a keyboard you plug into the TV.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's the whole Commodore 64 was a complete computer and something that, was about the size of a thick keyboard these days.
Excuse me, I just had to sneeze there. And then we got a monitor for it. It's on its own and had a floppy drive and had cartridges.
Yeah, the monitor people we did not have high resolution monitors for these things either. The monitor connected with RCA plugs, which
okay.
Yeah, some of the new TVs don't even have RCA plugs on the back anymore.
I don't know. The TV I just bought has them.
Yeah, but the last one that Slothgirl bought didn't. They just weren't even an option anymore when we tried to hook up one of her video game consoles.
You have to get like adapters nowadays, for a lot of these new ones.
That's what we had to do. We had to go and get a little box that would convert the RCA plug to an HDMI input. But yeah, it's something I run into now on the internet that that I'm talking to people in their 30s and having to explain to them what life was like before the internet. That you couldn't just Google things. You had to actually go to the library and look things up. You know, and it's a foreign concept to people in their 20s and 30s now that you can't just pull your phone out of your pocket and look everything up.
Okay, I got it. Here it comes. There you go, Nancy Mace.
Okay, Tree says my superhero alter ego is the Scarlet Shark, a middle-aged man that, when overexerted from fighting scoundrels, poops a little blood. Okay.
You want to grab that picture of Nancy? There we are. It's in the MidAmerica.
Nope.
Hold on.
It's not in MidAmerica?
Nope.
No, I think you just sent it to me again. I got it.
Okay, God, what's wrong with me?
Do you want that alphabetically or chronologically?
Numerically. Give me a list. I don't want to know. See, this picture was just so perfect for bending the rules with, it's not sexual, so I don't think it breaks that new federal law. Now, doesn't she look kind of like Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
Who's also a transphobe, so this is perfect.
Actually, the nose is remarkably similar. And yeah, with the beard, you can't see the details of the jawline as much, but you could definitely see if she had that beard, yeah.
Is there an image of Ernest Borgnine? Why Ernie Borgnine?
Oh, my unfinished journey was saying that Ernest Borgnine was the jawline and the teeth.
Oh, okay. Ernie Borgnine was a good actor. He was really sold short on McHale's Navy. But if you saw him in the film Marty, where he plays a mentally disabled person, it's quite impressive. I think he won the Oscar for it, actually. I don't remember for sure.
I don't remember that movie, but yeah.
Well, we could look that up in a split second here. Come here, IMDb.
IMDb.
Ernest Borgnine. Died in 2012 at 95. And let's see here.
Yeah,
I saw a thing. Blah 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 blah.
I saw a thing last night that the actor that played Norm on Cheers died yesterday at 76.
That is correct. He won an Academy Award for Marty.
Okay, Ernest Borgnine won an Academy Award for the movie Marty.
1955 or something like that. Jeez, I was a 1-year-old.
One-year-old? I thought you said 76.
No, 55.
Oh. Oh, when the movie was made. Okay.
StreamYards is done. Anybody have a timer on that?
About 13 minutes.
Our rough timer is we went through 3 topics in that time.
It was about 13 minutes.
I will be right back, I hope.
Oh, looks like this will be something I'll have to cover for my show. Sunday.
What?
Norm dying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ted Danson was quoted something. He's something like, "It's going to take me a long time to get used to this. A world without Georgie." Something along those lines.
Variety looks like it has a pretty good.
Okay, I have to quit StreamYards, and I'm going to try to come back on the iPad. So I'll be right back.
Okay. So Jenny should be back in about half an hour.
Yeah, usually for my Sunday shows, if an actor or celebrity dies, I'll put it up and then they'll sing the Parting Glass or Danny Boy or something.
Yep. That's nice that you do a little memorial for the famous actors we've lost, famous entertainers.
Yep. So I got the Variety website saved. I'll read that and we'll cover that for next Sunday.
Okay, is this why they don't bring up the trans mask people in all these laws? Because they need to keep the testosterone flowing for these people, huh? It would kind of explain, why these women are so aggressive.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, I need to do my shot today. It's Wednesday. I get to stab myself.
Hey, time to turn yourself into a pincushion.
Oh, my cats do that all the time. So, actually injecting myself with an inch-long needle hurts less than one of my cats climbing onto my lap. Because at least with the needle, it's only one prick instead of 10 or 20 as they move their paws around to get comfortable.
Well, okay, they still have it on the website, looks like. Just looking up the Snyder's cheddar or cheese. These pretzel pizzas. I haven't been able to find them in the grocery store lately. I was just seeing if they discontinued them or not, and but they're still up on the website.
I used to love pretzels. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, I'm not on. I have to get on the right account for Twitter before I can do that, because I have to get the link. Unless you want to read it to me letter by letter.
I don't know if we would accurately transcribe it that way.
Seriously?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G,
Wait,
capital
right.
A, capital D.
Okay.
It's a 1, a 2, a 3. Okay.
Well, it's HTTP.
No, we don't need that. Just the last letter or 7, 8 digits.
Okay, you've just got to know that's got the HTTPS in there.
No, it does not. There's a slash and a number of digits.
Yep. Okay. That's well, actually, I don't want to read that out. I would put it all up publicly.
Oh God.
Okay,
everybody out there,
close
your
it for you.
ears.
Okay, it's 2 DE.
What? 2 small D, capital D.
Small D, small E. 8. And all lowercase letters, KAXVR7.
Well, let's see if that works. Entering the studio. Yes, you can access the camera and that thing there.
Oh yeah, Mage. I noticed that StreamYard now is allowing me to do dual streaming. So we should test that. Well, we should test that out sometime and see if we can send a stream out to both your channel and mine at the same time. I just saw that there's an option for me to do that now.
Well, my channels don't really cover the same topics, though.
No, I just figured it would be a way to test it. I actually can't figure out when I would use it because it's not like my channel really overlaps well with anybody's channel. but it's just it seems to be an option there that I can set it up so that people that I invite onto the panel could stream it to their own channel.
Oh yeah, they've been able to do that for a while. I know some people were using it to stream to both YouTube and Twitter, or like some
Oh
other
yeah,
platform.
yeah. The multiple platform things has been there for a couple of years already. But I don't use any other platform that does streaming. I suppose I'm going to have to start using Twitter eventually because people are going there. But let's start a new one for Catter. Only felines. Now that would certainly be a popular one. Start a service called Only Felines that all people can upload there are pictures of cats.
Oh, what fun!
Hey, you know what would be popular?
Okay, let's see here. Well, I can open StreamYards. I can get to the stage or behind the stage, and there's a window for me without an avatar. Yeah, and I don't have any uploaded. And then there's another window for International Tea Day. But there's no image.
You probably have to be logged into StreamYard on that device for it to have access
I
to
am.
your avatars.
I am. Oh no, the avatars have to be uploaded independently. That's not a big deal. But this is just a test right now.
Okay.
And I can click on it and it recognizes my name. And so I can key that up to display name.
Yeah, if you're logged into StreamYard, I don't know why it's not giving you a selection of your avatars.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Yep. Now we've got Jenny and Winfred, but they keep talking over each other. You two, hey, you two, you gotta take turns.
Oh boy,
That's a lot of echoing.
There's a big delay there. Well, okay, I'm going to quit StreamYards on the phone and see what happens here.
Echo.
Okay, you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay,
yep. Okay, good.
No shit.
Yep, and
Well,
we can see the circle without the avatar that's flashing for when you talk.
Let's see. Let's try that one. It's pretty old.
So you got everything there except for your avatar. Okay, Captive Desk is going to be doing a stream tonight at 9 Eastern.
Okay.
What's the topic of your stream tonight? What you going to be talking about, Desk?
Bigfoot.
Okay. There you go, Jenny. Now we've got a picture of you.
Oh, you do? I don't.
Yep, we see a picture of you.
We see a picture of you sitting in your car.
And now we don't.
Yeah, that's the one I uploaded. I just don't get to see it myself.
There it is.
Okay, well, it's showing here
Maybe
on StreamYard.
It's taking a long time to load. It downloaded it awfully quick, so that's a good sign.
Yep, and yeah, when I switch over to the YouTube tab, I can see it on YouTube.
No, it does not. You can see it on YouTube, huh?
Yep. So everybody can see it.
I wonder if I do that. No. Well, I'm officially on the iPad. I just don't have an avatar that I can see.
Why don't
All
you
right,
try,
we'll play the game on this for a while.
Jenny? Why don't you just try exiting the room here and coming back in, and seeing if maybe that refreshes it.
Okay.
Looks like I found
give it a
this.
shot.
Looks like I found this the itchy spot on Molly. I'm scratching into her chin. I got her leg going.
Sammy's son has a spot like that too, and when it happens, he just has the most confused look on his face, like, "How are you doing that?"
I found the spot.
Now I see it. That was a good idea.
Okay, yay! We got Jenny on the
Fucking A,
iPad.
how about that? That's
Okay,
a
but
major step here.
do you have
If
to
I get
wait
Twitter
10
and stuff,
seconds,
of
like, to
course,
hear
you
everything we say?
just use this, but it doesn't give me any more options than I have on the phone.
Oh,
And
well,
then
at least it
can't
gives you a
upload my
bigger
own image
screen.
screen or yeah, it's a much bigger screen, way bigger.
Yeah, so it makes it better for you to be able to see images and read text.
Reply as soon as you hear me.
Okay, that's a bad lag.
Yeah, it's a really bad lag.
Jenny, start talking as soon as you hear. Start talking as soon as you hear me counting, so we can see what the lag is. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Once upon a time, there was this little bitty old gray-haired, witchy, bitchy, fucking asshole Trump person, and
Okay,
everybody hated.
It's almost about a 4-second lag.
Yeah, you've got a 3 to 4 second lag, I think.
Well, that's not too bad, I guess.
It's not horrible. We've sometimes had problems that bad with StreamYard alone, so. Although, it'll probably contribute to the problems of people talking over you again.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'll live with it. I'll do this for a while and see if there's any benefit to it.
Yeah, well,
other than
I know for me personally, just having. Go ahead.
No, I go ahead.
I was just saying, for me personally, just having a bigger screen to make the text more readable would make a huge difference. I don't do anything internet on my phone just because the screen's too small to read and the buttons are too small for my fingers.
Well, you only need your fingertip. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot. Your fingertip is like inch square, isn't it?
Well, for some reason, where I think my fingertip is pressing the button, it often seems to be pressing the button next to it or above it rather than the one I want. So I think maybe I've got to find somebody with smaller
avatar.
This could be an issue.
I think I've got to find somebody who has much thinner fingers than I do and just take one of their index fingers. I mean, I've gotten along fine with being short 3 fingers. Somebody else can give up just one for me, right?
Well, I don't know. Why don't you have them cut off one of your toes and sew that on?
Those would be even thicker. I suppose my pinky toe would, yeah. Okay, maybe I can get my pinky toe grafted onto one of my truncated fingers just to use as a stylus on touch screens.
I know a guy, Lincoln Fowler, who cut off his entire thumb on a circle saw. a table saw. And to fix it, the the replanting it didn't take, so they had to go about figuring out something else. And so they took his great toe from one of his feet, I presume the same side, and sewed that on.
Yeah, I remember
And it
many
worked
years
for a
ago.
while.
I remember many years ago reading about a similar case of a guy that, had like really messed up his hand, and they had cut off 2 of his toes to replace his thumb and his index finger, and at least it made it so he could grip things again.
There, we got another avatar.
Hey!
How
Good,
about
so you
that?
can switch between all your cute avatars now.
Uh-huh. Oh no, wrong set. Favorites.
Can we just make this the year of, like National Human Rights Year? That everybody should be out there protesting and doing everything they can to just protect everybody's individual rights.
No, that would be against Republican philosophy.
Shoot, which is one. World Watch, I think, was the organization that has now put the U.S. on the human rights warning list.
Oh yeah.
Ranking us something like 147th out of 150 countries for being who's the worst on human rights. So it's actually put us up there like 1 step above Russia and like 2 steps above North Korea.
We're number one. We're number one.
Yeah, so Trump should probably be real happy about that, because that's what he's always wanted to be a despot dictator, and now he's in the company of the people he really admired for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, even Canada is now warning their citizens against visiting the U.S.
Did you know that the border schnooks are not allowing citizens to cross the border to Canada?
I'm not surprised if the Canadian border guards are objecting to it.
Democracies don't do that. Only authoritarians limit how that their people can leave. It's a pretty tragic situation.
Yeah. Well, it was already more than a year ago that Mexico decided they were keeping us out. That Mexico was not allowing U.S. citizens to enter.
Oh, that one I hadn't heard.
Yeah, that was last year.
Oh, that's new.
And it's like, isn't this supposed to be the other way around? Didn't this all start because Trump said we had to keep the Mexicans out?
Oh, he's inviting the Mexican cartel here.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Trump gave a special offer to the family of a Mexican cartel to come and live here and get full citizenship.
Of a drug cartel?
Yep. A major one, too.
Yeah, one of the 3 biggest drug cartels in Mexico. He offered them to bring their whole family here and get full citizenship.
Jesus Christ.
Just because they were one of the cartels who gave us some information about the other cartels.
There's just nothing normal about any of these people in this administration. I mean, there's just nothing I have heard that makes sense out of any of them.
Yeah,
Little Marco Rubio Trump had this dinner one evening in the White House for all these extremely rich international guys to come over and invest in Donnie's cryptocurrency. And little Marco Rubio had no idea it was even happening.
Yeah.
Now, why wouldn't a Secretary of State know about something like that? This thing is uploading a lot faster now. I don't get that either.
Maybe needed time to warm up.
Yeah. Yeah, it does seem that your responses talking have gotten quicker. That there isn't as much lag. So now she's gonna go prove me
Oh,
wrong.
now see, that one just took about 10 seconds to upload.
Oh, I don't remember seeing this redhead before. This a new one you made?
No, these are just ones I steal from time to time.
Okay, I
That
don't.
was a cat girl.
I
Yeah.
just can't be able to find Winfrey. What a shame.
Yeah, Winfrey had made a mechanical leg for their dog, and I was thinking about that just because you know, I watched some videos about cat rescues and that, and there was one about a stray cat they picked up that had to have one of their legs amputated because, you know, it was like gangrene setting in because they had been so sick. So the kitty was learning to hop around on 3 legs.
You guys realize why Winfrey is my girlfriend, don't you?
Oh yeah, being a mechanic, I can get it.
Yeah. So
Yep.
I thought I'd use that picture of her for a while. But that one also only took about 10 seconds to download. I don't get
Okay,
this. Why is it...
Brian Stevens, I'm sorry, the conversation moved on, and I'm not sure your context here of okay, who was it that was holding a 27-year-old school teacher? Oh. Then Brian went to AFK, so I guess we won't get the answer to that right now.
Mage, are you paying any attention to that court case going down in Florida right now with that trans woman who's going to be tried for going in a bathroom?
No, I haven't.
And they're talking about her getting 18 months
Jeez.
in prison, in a men's prison.
That figures.
Yeah. Soros has been reporting on that regularly. Been keeping up to date on that. But yeah, it's just that the whole thing is ridiculous. You know, and again, what are they going to do in Florida when, you know, one of these big guys with a full beard is in the woman's restroom because he was assigned female at birth? You know, and I personally know a guy like this that, you know, no one would ever guess that he had been assigned female at birth because he's a big husky guy with a full beard.
By the way, this is the worm that was in RFK's brain.
It's got nasty teeth. That could shred a lot of brain cells.
Apparently it did.
It's AI. Yes, apparently it did.
Yep.
That guy actually believes in chemtrails?
Well, how about him swimming in sewage water?
Yeah.
Yeah, with his grandkids.
Yeah, that's the part I have an issue with. He can go swim in sewage water all he wants.
Okay. And now FDA apparently is trying to get the COVID vaccine to be off the list for people who are not elderly or
yeah, he's trying to limit as much as possible. Probably ban it if you could.
Yeah, well, that's the part about him taking the kids to swim in sewage is that this is the person who is responsible for our national health directives.
Well, not anymore. He's looking like he's more interested in our death directives.
Well, he is if you're poor. He would just as soon let poor people die off because they're a leech on the system. But the part that they still can't explain is that okay, they're trying to deport everyone with brown skin, and they're trying to
Yeah, so
kill
don't
off
get
all.
attached.
Yeah, and they're trying to kill off all the poor people. So then, who do they think is going to be left to do all these jobs and, work in the factories and work retail?
Children.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
they
they're
have
trying to
been
kill
for
off the poor
13-year-olds
people.
to work
So
overnight.
yeah,
Yeah, they just lower the age that you can work in factories. 14, you're good. And that's their plan apparently.
yeah. The only way I can logically see this as working, since they're killing off the families, is that they're going to, like, start having bunkhouses in the factories for the kids to rest between shifts. But that won't be a problem either, because going to school will stop being a thing once they finish shredding the federal education department. Then anybody who can't afford a private school just won't be going to school anymore.
Well, that's part of the plan, yes.
And that's the really insidious thing, is that you don't need to believe in any conspiracies to link all this shit together.
Yeah, they're completely above boards on everything. That's quite bothersome too. That everybody's just the media is just sucking it all up and doing whatever fucking Trump says.
Well,
They're the first to bend over to be fascists.
yeah, but Trump has also threatened to pull the broadcast license of any media that says something bad about him.
Yeah, I understand that, and they're trying to. They have other certain reporters arrested and put in jail.
Yeah,
As
Trump
individuals.
was after a piece that the New York Times released over the weekend. Trump was threatening to shut down the New York Times. I'm not sure how he was going to do that, but he'd probably just arrest the publishers and editors. So yeah, people, we're not moving toward a fascist state. We are already in one. We are living under a fascist dictator.
Yeah, we are.
And unfortunately, the Democrats aren't really doing anything, except a handful of them like Bernie and AOC. But most of the Democrats are not pushing back. They're just saying, well, we'll just wait until the midterms and then we'll control Congress.
One thing you Democrats can do is stop voting for his picks. Doesn't matter if they'll still get through without your vote. Just do not vote for any of them. Flat out.
Well, but if you don't vote for any of them, then just more Republicans get elected.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the Democrats in Congress voting for Trump's picks.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the Democrats in the Senate have to stop approving his appointments.
Well, he's not even asking them for approval. He's just putting them in office, and they operate without any hearing whatsoever.
This is true. Most of them have never been confirmed. He's just firing the people who were in office and replacing them. And most of them have never gone through a Senate hearing to get confirmed. Oh, bye, Brian.
Bye, Bri. Ooh, I can on YouTube and StreamYards at the same time. This modern technology is so cool.
Getting fancy there, huh?
I just heard a ping to notify me that my phone had fallen on the floor again. Actually, it probably fell over an hour ago,
Oh,
and
yeah,
it just
about that.
happened to make a noise now. I don't know why, but my phone has decided to keep jumping off the table lately. It was not doing it before.
Get some bubble gum.
Oh, okay, no big deal. It's just my clinic confirming an appointment for next week.
Wow, could you post any picture you want up on the screen? I want to see how big this big is on the iPad.
Sure, let me get one.
Stop asking for favors.
Oh, okay.
And thank you, Chet, for putting experimentations here. I can now actually see the people who are in that little cluster of creatures down in the corner. I could never see it before.
Okay.
Dum, 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 dum.
How's that?
You're roboting once in a while, Mage.
Am I?
I wonder if I'm the only one who hears that.
Yeah, I'm not hearing it. It may just sounds fine to me.
Okay, good.
Okay. Did you put a picture up?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, you did?
Yep, I can see it on YouTube. I can see it on StreamYard.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna.
Mage put a sign up with big text, so you should be able to read it.
Is that a great sign? It's so silly.
Yep. I've got to reactivate my eBay store and start liquidating some things.
Spooky says that they do not hear Mage at all.
You don't hear me? Hello?
I'm sorry, my iPad's affecting your reception.
Wait, Spooky, is that you don't hear Mage or you don't hear the roboting?
Yeah.
How about the rest of the people in the chat? Do you hear
Oh,
Mage when you talk?
I see. Yeah, he's saying he doesn't hear me roboting because you see the little robot icon there.
Oh, okay.
I don't hear Mage robot. Let's see.
Okay. Well, and I heard some echo when Jenny first came back, but now I'm not hearing it. So now everything sounds good. Jenny?
You periodically Mage sounds just perfect.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you were still there because, like I said, I heard some roboting when I first let you in, but it's gone now. Or echoing, rather,
Okay,
when
well,
you
I'm just
first
going to
came
blame
in.
this all on.
Yep. Nope, it's all good now. Everybody sounds good now.
Okay, you can toss the picture. Thank you. Looks fine.
But
But I had to reboot the stage and then come back on.
Okay. Well, cool. I'm glad it's working pretty well for you, Jenny.
And there's Wonder Woman supporting trans rights.
Cool.
You don't have to give me main stage like that, yeah.
Well, I just wanted to make the icon bigger so people could see it better. Hey, Mage, when did you grow horns and a frill?
I don't know.
Horns and a frill?
Mage's icon
What?
is superimposed over my image.
Oh. I only see his icon.
Yeah, why does Mage have a huge icon and the rest of us are just regular there? There we go.
Because I'm using split cam.
Yeah, split cam was working fine for me for a good long time, and now I'm having a lot of problems with it.
I've
Like-
actually not had any problems with it for a while. I was getting the issue of it occasionally having to be reloaded, but
Well, that was the main problem I was getting. It was like every time I went to use it, I had to reinstall it.
I haven't had that.
just
Yeah, I
Yes.
haven't run into it. Well,
somehow one of its files kept getting corrupted and it would never load right, and I had to keep reinstalling it, which just got to be too much of a pain, so I gave up on it.
it's not that big of a deal.
Okay, well, we've been going over 2 hours. Are people ready to wrap it up, or does somebody have another topic they want to go over?
I'm not really sure what I was going to do.
Okay, Popeye.
Okay, well, I think we'll wrap it up here. So,
Oh, just when I'm about to get Twitter fired up.
if you're bringing Twitter into this, we're definitely wrapping it up
Let's
here.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jenny, you have any final comments on any of the stuff we covered?
No, I'm pretty sure I don't. Add an existing account. Let's see here.
Okay, Mage, what have you got coming up?
Quite a lot. I've got that. I've actually just finished recording a video for my gardening channel, Gardens Happen. I'm working on my next live show for Sunday, which will be covering trivia on Galaxy Quest. I'll be doing a little history thing on Ed Mercer from the Orville, and I'll be reading another chapter of The Call of Cthulhu. And of course, I'm working on some more Suno songs and some videos for that channel as well.
Galaxy Quest has a special place for me. It was one of those, one of the little independent theaters near St. Paul. Used to on weekends they turned it over to a group that ran one of the local conventions, and they would run old sci-fi movies. So I saw Galaxy Quest on the big screen, and it turned out to be a real bonding experience with one of my girls.
Yeah. Well, it turns out Sunday is Geek Pride Day, so I wanted to do something that would cover kind of in that theme.
Cool.
Galaxy Quest seemed like a good choice.
Oh, excellent! Yeah. Captive Desk is saying he's got some plants to put in as soon as it stops raining.
There's my Mage's Media Music channel. Since I haven't done much on Gardens Happen lately.
Yep.
I got to let that link out too.
Okay, do you know what day you're going to be putting out your gardening video?
No, I don't.
Okay, so not scheduled yet.
like I said, I just finished filming it this morning, so I need to throw it over to my computer from my phone and edit it together.
Yep. So it's still in process.
Yep, and I just finished up. Well, next one of the videos I'm working on for the Mages Media Musing channel is the Superman history and origin. I recorded the history report, or it's almost verbatim from what I had from the live stream. But I've reworked the origin and story a little bit. It's thing is that was kind of a rush job, so that's all going to be in one video.
Yep. Well, I don't have anything going on except this right now, so I will see everybody here again same time next week.
Oh, you think so, huh?
Well, it's a possibility. Otherwise, I may just slough it off and make Mage do it alone again. No, I've already got the stream set up for next week. Yeah,
I can't seem to get hooked up with Twitter. I have my account information, but maybe I changed my password since I wrote that all down.
Next week is World Otter Day, because I had always said that Sloth Girl was my otter half. That we were not romantic or sexual or intimate in any way, but we had to stay close enough to hold hands so we didn't drift apart. So I have to do World Otter Day, just kind of as a nod for her.
Well, it's just going to get odder and odder.
Yep.
It must be getting hot down there. Summer coming and everything, hey?
Well, apparently her stuffed otters have been breeding in storage. Because when I was cleaning up my apartment for the inspection, I got them all together. And I only remember buying 3, but there's 7 of them now. So the plushies have been breeding in storage.
Well, you could start a business with that. Start making plushies, selling them.
Okay, well, we will see you all next week. Thanks all for joining us. Oh, I almost forgot again to thank all of our supporters. Robert X, Greg Hartwick, Kitty the Atheist, Sandy Shore, Skitzcrasher, A Very Stable Milking Stool, Regios, and Junie.
And don't forget Jockey.
Jockey?
Yeah, supporter.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
So thank you all for helping us keep things going. And we will see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Be trans, piss off Trump.